you drinking Pepsi Max? It's 7 o'clock in the... Not even quite 7 o'clock. Yeah, well, it is 7 o'clock now. It's 7 o'clock in the morning.
No sugar, and
right.
it's just nice, isn't it, now and again. I don't drink it very often because fizzy's not great for you, but
no.
I just fancied it, and it's 20% bigger.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday morning show. Good morning, Leicester.
Morning.
Are you still drinking that? God. How do you drink it at this time of the morning?
Gotta wet the whistle.
Gotta wet the whistle, absolutely right. Well, we've got a new set.
We have.
We have moved from over there to here.
We've moved about 180 degrees, haven't we?
I have been thinking about changing the setup of our set, and I thought we'd just move around the studio just a little bit, just to see if it makes it any easier to edit with these green screens everywhere. They were doing my head in.
Yeah.
Doing my head in. So I've moved us. Are you comfy here?
Yes.
I know we're a little bit further away from the radiator, and I know you do like a little bit of heat.
I'm closer than you, though.
You are, yeah.
It's on my left.
Yeah, and we've got a few lights on us, so that should keep you nice and warm.
Yeah.
So how are you doing anyway?
Good.
How is your week in lockdown been?
Okay, yeah. Got out a bit, done a few online sales. Sold a few t-shirts, sold a bit of merch. Always available if anybody wants anything. Just to keep busy, really.
Those t-shirts, I can't believe you. Are they
some
all
new
sold
ones
now?
coming.
Have you got some new ones?
I've got 2 or 3 left of the one that says I like Dan on it.
Right, like that.
I like that, yeah. I've only got medium and larges left. The extra larges are gone. But I've got some Burnley's bus tours coming as well.
Have you?
So yeah, should be here next week.
Some special ones coming out.
Yeah.
Some special editions for you.
Special editions.
So this week on the show, obviously the live. We put the live out, and that was a bit of a success with Will Harvey from Titleist, and we thank Will for coming on and chatting to us about wedges and grinds and what bounces to have and what loss to have and things like that. I thought it went down really quite well, and I love bringing on, like there's always comments where people sort of say, you know, oh, you're bringing them on to do sales pitches and things like that. It's not about that. It's about, I think, just trying to educate us all more. Like if I can learn something, like if I get a chance to spend an hour with Will Harvey, who spends all his time around these tour players and to pick his brain about how wedges perform. I mean, I've had a couple of fittings with him now, and he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant at changing, moving strike location, all of those sorts of things by just changing the way in which the club works.
Yeah, I mean,
really.
Like,
I mean, you've had a fitting with him as well.
Yeah, like we say, every day's a school day, isn't it? If you can, I would say that's what we've tried to do the last sort of 13, 14 months since you've had your channel. Is we've tried to pick people's brains on various things, haven't we? Whether it's manufacturers, whether it's people that edit, whether it's people, even producers, get as much information, or even fellow YouTubers. And that's the thing. To help us.
Well, the thing is with it, the way I see it, is that we're learning. Yeah. And then whilst we learn with it, we're never going to stress that we know everything about this game. It's endless. So the more that we can learn from someone like Will, and pass that information over to you guys, I mean, it helps us with what we do for a living, and hopefully it'll help you with your games as well. So really good and fantastic questions that came in from people. I was, you know, as soon as I put that post out on Instagram, they just came flooding in. People wanting to know about. Great questions. Really good questions.
I personally like the interaction when people come on the show and ask their question and they appear on the screen. It's really good, and all credit to Lee for producing something that looks so professional.
It's a great show.
Yeah, let's hope it grows a little bit as well.
So there was also another video that I wanted to talk about, which was our Cleveland wedge video.
Yeah.
Now, there was 2 videos that went out, and one of them was a Cleveland wedge video, and then it seemed like it was like a wedge week. This week has been like a wedge week, and then I did the other video with Chris from the golf club here, Chris, one of the members here, Chris Overton, and that was actually a video that I forgot that we'd filmed, and that was the one that I found. So it was a little bonus
video,
little nugget of information there. Which we all like.
The Cleveland wedge video was interesting, wasn't it? It
well,
very much had mixed reviews from our reviewers. Yeah,
and like for us, when we're doing these reviews of products, like there are a lot of guys out there who are serious reviewers of equipment, and we are serious reviewers, but at the end of the day, we're not robots. We don't hit the golf ball in the same spot every single time, and if we can put a club into a real-time environment of being out hitting wedge shots around the greens, then I think that is good feedback. All I want to ever do with certainly a review of a product is to tell people what those companies are talking about the wedge, how the wedge is feeling, looking, and kind of performing for us in our environment, and it didn't go down so well.
No, I mean, me personally,
not for everybody, but for some people.
Yeah, me personally, I like to be honest in how I feel about something.
Yeah.
I'm not paid to say anything or paid to use anything. You've basically given people that appear on your channel license to almost not say what you want, but voice your opinion, and that was my opinion on that particular wedge. People have different opinions. They might not even appreciate my opinion, but I'm not going to say I like something visually if I don't like it.
No.
I don't want to do that. I always want to be honest with people and try and do an honest review. Just because it's a particular make or a particular type. I've got nothing against Cleveland. I think they're a great golf company.
And there's a lot of technology and a lot of R&D that goes into producing.
And if you watch some of their videos, I liked their driver was particularly impressive for me. I could definitely use their driver. Yeah. But that wedge just did not do it for me. And I wanted to
give that
maybe it came
opinion
across not in the right way. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd also admit that I'm not the greatest fan of doing reviews. It's not my thing that I enjoy the most. I know we'd have to do them, and we do them.
Well,
for the channel,
we're going to review that. We're going to review the way in which we do our reviews, and it's something that we'll talk about, and certainly Lee and I will speak about at some stage of how we're going to do them and get the best from them.
I mean, we tried to do them a little bit differently to the norm, didn't we? Well, like you said.
I was trying to make it a bit of fun, really, more so than.
But it didn't really get on very well.
No.
Did it?
Well, it did and it didn't. Like, there was a good mix. There's a lot of people out there that use that particular wedge, of which I understand that maybe we hit a nerve with some people.
Yeah,
it wasn't from that, and that was not our intention at all. So we can only apologise if you took offence to the way in which we presented that. We will review it and look at improving or changing the way in which we review them in the future from that side.
I mean, that's the only way we can grow and change and produce what people want to see is by them commenting.
100%.
But some suggestions of anything, suggestions are always welcome. Yeah. We do read, like we say, we always read everything. We might not always respond to it because of time restraints. Yeah. But a lot of the ideas and a lot of the things we do on the show are from what you guys want to see and how you think things should be. And we're trying to improve for you guys so that you enjoy. So you enjoy it. Improves.
The more comments and reactions that we get from people, the more we can learn and improve on our deliveries of our videos.
Yeah, I mean, we've always stated that we're not, we're new to this. We've only been doing videos 12, 13 months. Yeah. And we're learning on the job, aren't we? So,
absolutely, couldn't agree more.
I feel like we made good progress with the production, how we produce the videos, even how we appear in front of the camera. But we're always looking to improve. I think you have to improve and evolve to keep growing, and that's what ultimately you want to do, isn't it?
Absolutely right.
So what we got on? What we doing on this show anyway? What's going on?
I've got. I want to carry on where I left off a few weeks ago, where I had a chat with Jason Brooks, our greenkeeper. He was doing some jobs out on the golf course. This was when you were in self-isolation. Actually, I went out and did. Jason was doing some jobs on the course, and he had made a start on the new practice putting green here at Torquay. So I thought we would take you out there today and just share with you the process of what Jason has done to get to where he's got to with that new putting green. So let's go and see Jason.
Perfect.
Welcome to another lockdown. Saying this now, it's really quite satisfying to see the end result. You visualise it in your mind months in advance, and it's only now when it's all completed do you get the real full gratification from the job that you've spent quite a number of hours carrying out and completed. We've got a putting green kind of half started, just for additional putting practice facilities. We've got a pathway to complete, and that's probably next week's job to crack on with now, and hopefully we'll have it finished before lockdown ceases, and then we'll start growing ready for the season ahead. So we're at a point now where we've been left the sub-base by the contractor. He had cored out the area, which is not to be confused with hollow coring. It's just basically he's almost like taking a bath plug out. He's got rid of this big plug of soil. Yeah. We've got rid of that, We've created the slopes and the contours within the green, and that will mirror what will be on the top. So then we just tied it up a little bit. We've checked that the drains are all clean and what have you, and then we've gone and installed the irrigation. So the irrigation, the main line of the irrigation was way down the end of the pathway.
Yeah.
We've trenched through where the pathway will be to minimise the disruption to the ground. Brought the pipe to this box here, which is where it's an isolation point.
Okay.
And then from there, we've run the pipe right around the perimeter of the green. There's a sprinkler over the far side, another one over to your left.
How many sprinklers will you have on this green?
We're only going to have 3 because it's quite a small green. We don't need to have too many.
Yeah.
And I had a little bit of help from a friend of mine in construction just to double check the positioning of the sprinklers, because that's critical really, that you get the sprinklers even distribution wise, and that the sprinkler itself will reach the other sprinkler when it's watering, so you don't have any gaps in between the coverage of the sprinkler system.
But do you want them overlapping each other as well? It's kind of quite critical, isn't it, to get that point right?
Overlapping is better than underlapping.
Is it?
Yeah.
So that means that you end up with some areas that maybe get a little bit more water than others.
So you've got when the sprinklers get installed, you've got then quite a lot of adjustment to them. You can change the arcs, you can change the run times, you can also change the nozzles, which will then determine how far the water is thrown. So there's lots of things you can adjust to get the even spread that you need going forward.
Up the top there, is that going to run off quite a lot into the green? Is that a concern? Is that something you've had to think about as well? Yeah.
So the lay of the land is going to shed a lot of water towards the green. So we modified it a little bit by putting an additional, you can't see it now, it's covered with gravel, but it's an additional drain right along the top edge of the green, which will intercept anything that's coming onto the green,
right?
Just to take that away as well. But yeah, that's not helpful to have excess water coming on from the outside if you can help it.
No. And then the other thing I've noticed with the guys when they were out here the other day is that they were going around the edge of the green, because obviously the green, kind of the way that the chap had left it, is it was flowing in, should we say that the soil was flowing in, but now they've edged right down. What's that all about? Why have they had to do it like that?
So yeah, you want to absolutely a perfect 90-degree edge to the green, because if not, you get different levels of your root zone. So it'll all react differently. You know, it will dry out quicker, for example, if it's a bit thinner in soil than if it wasn't. So we shaved it right down, then you have a complete consistent depth of every profile you're building up within the green then.
And that's amazing to think. I mean, I wouldn't have thought about that. You know, if I was building green in my back garden, I wouldn't have thought about the small detail that goes into the depths of, you know, because the green, what you're saying is that the green can change its moisture levels as it works its way up and down if you've got different levels of soil.
Yeah, so you've got all these posts within the green, and you can see the tape lines on them.
Yes.
So the red tape line is to give us the depth gauge of 4 inches of gravel.
Yeah.
And then above that you've got the yellow line, which is then the 12 inches of root zone going on top.
Okay.
By root zone I mean it's a sort of 70-30 mix of sand and soil, which will drain well, but also retain a degree of moisture so that the grass has a chance to survive.
So where are we now then, Jace?
So we're at a stage now where we're going to add the root zone to the top of the gravel layer. So we've got the 4 inches of gravel layer on top of the sub base. We're going to put 12 inches of root zone on top of the gravel layer, which is a 70-30 mix of sand and soil.
So once you've got the root zone in place then, and all sort of packed down, should we say, and rolling with the contours of that green, where do we go from there?
So we're going to bring over the cores once the greens have been hollow cored. Hopefully they'll be dry enough that we can get that done as soon as possible, and then literally it'll be put straight onto the green at a depth of about 1.5 inches, spread evenly across all the surface, and then once that's down, we'll put a bit of grass seed with that, roll it all in, and it's really kind of put to bed then. So
to me, we're down here just by the putting green now. I mean, it's really looking like a proper green now. I mean, I haven't been here for a few days to look at it, but it's really you can almost see the sort of little green tinges of the grass kind of coming through in some ways, even though it's probably too cold to really get growing.
Yeah.
How long is this going to take now to really grow up and you start cutting it and then obviously when the members start putting on it.
Yeah, it's the beginning, where are we now? Middle of February.
Yep.
I'd like to think it starts to warm up a bit now, moving forward. So, some point in March, it'll be pretty green out on there, and we'll just do some light top dressing. Mowing, we might not have to worry about for perhaps until April. I'd have said it's really driven by the weather and how mild it becomes. You know, who knows what the weather will be like, but it's finished. It's tinges of green on it, so it looks and resembles the green. It's been quite gratifying to see the project come together from what was an idea back in autumn to get it to where we are now. It's very satisfying.
So there you go. There's our little insight of how to build a putting green with the way in which Jason has put that all together. I think is absolutely
I might have a go in my garden tonight.
Well, it's
haven't got a
interesting.
garden.
No, you haven't got a garden. But it's interesting because I did ask Jason off camera. I sort of said, you know, what happens with an artificial putting green?
Yeah.
And he said largely it's very much the same production. So you do the same base, you create it in the same way. Obviously, then you don't turf it. You put then a layer of your kind of astroturf that would go over the top. But I just think that one of the points that he wanted to get across was that it's not quite that easy just to put in a putting green in your back garden, because it's not, once you get it in, that's great, but it's the maintenance of it. The ongoing maintenance of which, you know, we will try and do as much as we possibly can with maintenance of golf courses and share with you some of the experiences on it, but you're going to have to buy a mower, a pretty impressive mower to be able to manage the grasses and cut the greens to that level, you know.
Why don't more courses put in artificial greens for practice facilities? I know the initial cost is quite extreme, isn't it? But less maintenance. Well, and it's all year round play, isn't it? You'd think there would be maybe an alternative.
There's some amazing artificial golf courses around the world right now that they've created, and I would love to get an opportunity to go and spend a bit of time on one and do some videos from one. But I think the whole area needs to be artificial. So all of you know,
couldn't go from. I mean, I was thinking possibly your temporary greens at a golf course could be. It wouldn't have to be the greatest quality. Yeah. But at least the surface would be better to putt on than. I mean, temporary greens, particularly in this area, tend to be horrendous, don't they?
It's interesting you say
can't
it because but when we created the short game area here at Torquay, there was discussions about having an artificial chipping green. Yeah. Because I mean, you know as well as I do, and we've done a video recently. Funnily enough, that Cleveland video.
I was going to say about the green being completely full of pitch marks.
Pitch marks. Yeah. So someone mentioned in the comments at 15 in the video or something like that when we were panning down to the golf balls, all the pitch marks that were on the green and how it's upsetting. Like that's quite upsetting because you get a few players or a few people that are going off to play, and this is not just here. This is everywhere, where they'll hit 15 shots onto a green and then they're rushing to get to the first tee, and they won't then go and pick up all their pitch marks.
You need 10 people a day to that 15 pitch marks.
And you know how busy that gets. Yeah. So it gets those then become non-repaired, and then the green starts to get a little bit messy, and then you're not getting the same type of thing. Whereas if you same type of material all the way around the golf course, so then you're going to get. If you went down the artificial line, you wouldn't get those pitch marks. No. And there's a part of me, I mean, you know, when I was a kid and went up to Woodall Spa for England Golf, they had an artificial putting green there. Yeah. That the kit or the players would use in the winter months and things like that. And I still think that there's.
You think of sort of the extra revenue and whatnot if you had an area here where you could walk from sort of a pathway onto an artificial thing, even when it's like you've had like a couple of weeks of rain and the course is shut, you could still potentially use it, couldn't you?
And I still think there's a good market for it. I really do. I think that I think there'll be some courses at some stage creating artificial, because once you've there's no maintenance costs either. There's minimal, you know, you need to brush it and things like that. Minimal cost to it. Yeah. So you think of what it costs to run a putting green. Yeah. You know, throughout the year, cutting it, hours spent on it, and by staff and things like that. So I think you will start to see it, but I don't think that we're quite ready for it yet. Certainly not in the UK.
No, maybe we're a few years behind that. I mean, there's quite a lot of artificial, like 4 and 5G football pitches now, which a couple of the local teams actually play on one. The Devon headquarters of football, which is in Newton Abbot, 10 miles away from where we live. That is complete. It was a terrible draining pitch, and it's completely on that artificial surface, and it's used all year round. So it's non-wearing. You can.
And would you have seen that 10 years ago?
No.
So things are progressing forward, and I think that not necessarily a putting green would become artificial. Maybe a portion of the green might be for winter putting. But certainly, I think chipping greens and pitching greens would actually really benefit from being artificial. Always good though catching up with Jason, because I think a lot of people. He's very knowledgeable. We're very lucky here to have him at Torquay, because he's he would be very sought after for a head greenkeeper. But so he's a great guy to have on board. He's very supportive of what we do as well. So he's always keen to do some more videos with us, and we will share some more videos of what happens on the golf course with Jason.
It's good. Like I say, it's nice to learn about a part of the industry that I'm not involved in. And don't know much about, to be honest. So any time we can pick someone's brains as highly qualified and skilled as him, then it's brilliant, isn't it?
Absolutely brilliant,
yeah.
One thing I need to mention.
Some exciting news.
It's finally launched. I talked about it on Instagram this week, but we do have now a coaching trip organised for November. So it's going to be Manga in Spain, something really, really positive to look forward to after what's been a really tough year. So Manga, Spain. I will put a link in the description of this video, sharing that with you, so you can go and have a little look at it. And myself, my brother Paul, and James Ruth will be coaching there. Lester's going to be coming along too, helping out. He's head of skills challenges
and late night entertainment.
So if you are interested in coming along for our coaching trip in November, then please go down into the description, have a little look at the link, send off your details, and then Graham Ruth, who organises these trips with us, he will be in touch with you and we'll get it sorted from there. But I'm just so looking forward to it. The Manga is stunning. You've never been. The Manga is absolutely fantastic. 3 amazing golf courses, which we get to play all 3 of them. Coaching, the facilities there are superb. And Spain, November, bit of sunshine.
Nice.
You could do a topping up that tan.
Rather than electric beach in it.
Exactly right.
The other thing...
There is another thing.
There's one last thing before we go.
Yeah.
So we've had a bit of an idea that on the Sunday morning show, because we want to get you guys involved a little bit more, we have done in the past with questions and whatnot, but the opening credits with the dancing, we want your dancing videos sent to us so we can actually put them on the front of the show. So each week we'll have a different person dancing.
Down here will be a link, or not a link, but there'll be the email address that you will be sending them to if you want to send one in. So are you dancing?
20-second video, like dress up if you want. The more creative, the better.
Yes.
Try anything you want. Dress up as if you want.
Yeah.
Make your own little set. Do whatever you want.
Bit like what Paul Jackson did.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That'd be perfect.
So have a look at his if you haven't seen it.
Exactly,
But yeah.
Right, I think that's it for this week's show.
Cool.
Thank you very much for your time, and thank you everybody for coming to watch.
See you next week.
See you next Sunday.